Let me give you a bit of overview on DevOps and to get an understanding of the market, where it exactly started and where it is now, and how it is going to look like in the next 10 years. So you might be hearing the buzzword DevOps, SRE, and platform operations for a while. So why this come into the picture and why people are investing in DevOps? As you can see here, in 2016, this market is of $1 billion, and today are like it is the market is around like $10 billion, and in the next 10 years, it's going to turn it into the like a $30 billion industry. You can see that here is a snippet of the Google search, how this is market is changing, and we'll understand why it is changing and how it is going to change the entire operations world in IT. But you can see this one, right? In the next 10 years, it is going to change that into a $30 billion industry. And that is why one has to invest if somebody is getting into the IT, if they are interested in DevOps, and they should invest into the IT DevOps so that they can get their best returns on their investment. Uh, and now let's understand about the agenda. Today, as part of the demo, what we're going to cover. So let's understand, how the DevOps evolution happened and how it is continuously growing, how it is changing, and what will we learn? What will we learn out of this training, right? So just to give a high level view, what we are going to cover, what's our agenda for the entire, how long it is going to take, and how this is going to help a DevOps enthusiast to become a successful DevOps engineer here. Now, so we have been speaking about DevOps and how this DevOps come into the picture, and let's try to understand a bit of software development lifecycle, right? And where this DevOps fits in there. So in order to get anything, either it is an app on your mobile or whether it is an app that you are using like Facebook, WhatsApp, or like Tinder or whatever for that argument's sake. So they have to start with some idea, and then they have to develop it, deploy it, and make it available to the end users. So this has changed, why DevOps has born or why DevOps has been started. Let's understand here a traditional way, that is before DevOps world and after DevOps world. Then we are going to go into the details there. So there are more than 10 different methods of software development lifecycle. Right, we are not going to cover every different life cycle here. We're going to cover high level how DevOps is born. There are primarily two waterfalls. You can think about Windows operating system. You can think that Windows version, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7, Windows Vista. If you think about these ones, these are like traditionally a waterfall development of Windows. They develop once every couple of years. Every 3 years, Windows will release a new version of operating system, and then you will have that. Then Microsoft will sell it, then they will adapt to it. But in the recent times, if you observe, especially with Windows 10 and Windows 11, the new features to the market, they are coming very, very fast. But because slowly Microsoft as well is changing onto the Scrum fall. The reason is very simple. If you want to gain the market, you have to be quick. You cannot say that I will be like developing an app, that the app is going to take like 1 year to develop, and I will have a feature functionality in the like in the coming year. No. So Windows is that pretty much waterfall, just to give a high level view, but things are changing, and some of the Scrum fall or like agile way of development is something like WhatsApp. You can think about that. WhatsApp has came into the existence just to make that okay SMS free of cost, or SMS over data or message over data, and that's how it started. And they developed on top of it. They have not have the core product with all the feature functionalities, but now you can see that they are releasing new features or new functionalities quickly, and they are doing it in in iterations of months. They are getting the new feature functionalities. So this is where the DevOps are born, and I'm going to go into detail now. And uh, and uh, let's understand, okay, any traditional waterfall, okay, these are sequential executions. These are sequential execution. Think about like, okay, Infosys will go gather the requirement analysis, or some other IT company will go requirement analysis, design it. The developers or the architects are going to design it, and the developers are going to develop it, and there will be a QA team who is going to test it, and then it will be given to the maintenance for support and operations to get this one. This is a traditional way in waterfall before DevOps is born, and let's understand this in bit in detail. So if you do look at this one, there are a couple of titles or business titles or the uh, business persons that are going to support traditionally in waterfall. That means for requirements, there will be a business analyst. For design, there will be an architect or systems architect and development architects. For development, there will be developers. And for the testing, testers and QA. And for the deployment, this is where the entire core part, like you need to understand, this is what we are going to cover, or the deploy portion. And there will be an okay monitoring, network operation centers or global operation centers that are going to do an operations here. So in deploy, there used to be so many teams. There used to be so many teams. Middleware team, that is WebSphere or any middleware teams that used to be exist. OS team, operating systems, and doing the patching, deploying the VMs or deploying the missions, okay, supporting the operating systems, debugging the operating systems, and the storage team, if they want something like okay, a petabyte or bigger storage, is something like YouTube, something like Facebook. When they need a petabytes of storage, they used to have an okay big team that is just the duty is to just do storage operations. Backup team, making sure that the application is up and running. Network team and a data center team, database team, and apps team. These are the different teams that are used to be there before like okay DevOps came into existence. So we're going to cover that a bit here. So let's understand where DevOps comes in. So here is the thing that I would like to go here and explain this one here, right? Okay, or let me wrap it up. Or let me take it up. So these are the teams that are used to be there in a regular world of waterfall here. But what slowly happened is that all these are getting replaced by cloud. Most of them are replaced by cloud. Okay, the cloud, okay, middleware. Okay, let's take a look at the middleware. And you can think about middleware is still existing of like roughly, but the OS portion, it has moved to cloud, right? Okay, it has moved to cloud, and the cloud is saying that, okay, if you want the operating system, go get a VM on the cloud, and I'm going to do the management for you. And I want some storage for my mission or to a VM. Okay, cloud is saying that you don't need a separate storage team. I'm going to do it for you. And the backup team, they are saying that okay, yeah, I'm going to do it for the cloud. Data center, there is no more data center, right? Okay, the data center is going on to the cloud. And database team, roughly that okay, it is also moved mostly, but okay, but still there is like if you want to get a database, you can roughly get onto this one. That means the things that are used to be tougher, the things that are actually to be like okay, used to be managed by a group of people, they have become very roughly you can get it achieved by a single click on the cloud. Okay, single click on the cloud, great. Okay, who is going to do that? Who is going to do that, and who is going to get that alive and make it available for the users to consume? That is where the roughly that okay, the guy who is going to tackle all these portions is the DevOps engineer. The guy who is going to cover, I didn't cover the middleware, I didn't cover the AppSec. Roughly, AppSec is also going to covered by the DevOps engineer, but it is not completely. That's the reason I'm not covering it. But the rest of the stuff, OS team, storage team, backup team, network team, and getting the things done, and database team are roughly has become that okay, the DevOps engineer. Previously, it used to be like okay, as we explained, a different teams. But okay, right now with all the evolution around the way that the teams are developing and the iterations at which the people are developing the technologies, now this has came into that okay, a single team. That's where the DevOps come into the picture. Okay, technically the deployment or the deployment engineering has become the DevOps engineer, and that's how it has translated into the Scrum form. The reason is very simple: quick to the market, gain the market, okay, run the business without no downtime. That's what the DevOps engineer has run out, and how this has been done with this one. Now, before going to details, okay, great, and okay, what we are going to cover in this course? Okay, great. We can get started with that one, but okay, how we are going to make sure that what DevOps engineer needs? Why? Because as I told you, it is completely growing based upon what companies demand. So let's understand, okay, how this is coming up. GitHub most star, and this is that okay, the development of the development or the DevOps, what skill set the DevOps required. It is not driven by what I know, or like okay, what individual teams knows. So around the world, there is a GitHub ranking, and in the GitHub ranking, there is an okay advanced different projects or the different things that you can that you can see that like okay, how this has been demanding what things has to change, what a DevOps engineer has to met. So you can look at this. This is a most start project on GitHub, and here is the developer roadmap. And in this roadmap, we are going to look for the DevOps here. And here is the website. And this is managed by the community. It is not managed by me. It is not managed by some company. It is managed by the group of people that are evangelists in the DevOps area, and they are updating almost on day-to-day basis on what they need to be a successful developer, successful front end, and we are going to cover for the DevOps. And we have designed the entire content or training based upon this roadmap.sh, because the demands for the DevOps are changing. As I explained you in this earlier thing here, the development engineering or deployment engineering is more about what things to met to be a successful company in the market. So those things are changing. So that's the reason okay, like okay, our course content is based upon the DevOps roadmap.sh DevOps. And in this one, to be a successful DevOps engineer, okay, it is not like nothing to do with me, nothing to do with anybody. To become a successful DevOps engineer, you need to know all of these things here. So learn a programming language. We're going to cover like our training does not going to cover a programming language, but roughly we are going to cover an okay self-scripting, which is going to come here. We are going to cover this, learn bash scripting here, that we're going to cover here. But to be a successful DevOps engineer, you need to be knowing a bit of like okay networking, virtualization, and you need to know that okay a Linux operating system, Windows, and one shell scripting here. And we're going to cover that okay the entire Linux Unix concepts, what we're going to cover. And we are going to cover the containers, and we're going to cover the reverse proxy Nginx, and networking tools we are going to cover. We're going to cover Vault here. And from an infrastructure provisioning, we are going to cover Terraform. And for container orchestration, we are going to cover Kubernetes. And the configuration management, we are going to cover Ansible. And from an CI/CD tooling, we are going to cover Jenkins. And for monitoring, we're going to cover Prometheus and Grafana. And we are not going to cover the application monitoring, but we're going to roughly cover Eager or New Relic, one of them, just to give an idea. And we're going to cover it. It's going to come as part of this Elasticsearch and Elasticsearch. We're going to cover that one. And let's come to the cloud. We're going to cover the Azure portion. So that's how we have crafted our entire course on making a successful DevOps engineer. This is the how we have built the course, and that is how we are differentiating from anybody else in the market, and how we are building a good DevOps engineer here. That's what we are going to cover in our course as part of the Azure DevOps engineer here. So that's at the high level. Now let's understand that. Great. Let's discuss about something about successful companies that are bigger within tens and thousands of DevOps engineers that are working in the market. Let's take a look at this one. Netflix. I believe every one of you on the call, you're well aware how Netflix is operating today, right? They like it's a fault tolerant build-up of a web service that is available, and that is available to the mobile, that is available to the TVs, that is available to any device, iPad or whatever the device that you have, and the way that they have built using the microservice. And I'm going to take it over to that. One of our our DevOps training that we have completed recently, just to give an idea on what we're going to cover. So this is part of the some of the things that we're going to cover about mutable infrastructure, that is in the data centers, how we're going to build things, and immutable, that is going to be part of the cloud thing, and containerized, which is the most recent, and how companies are successful with the containerization and the Kubernetes in Azure, that we're going to cover, and we're going to go in detail. And this is one thing, you can see some couple of red areas, which are the drawbacks of the individual environments, and you can see that the most successful way of deployment using container infrastructure, right? Which is the most scalable, fault tolerant, redundant way of deploying an application, that we're going to cover. And this is how we are going to cover our course there. And these are the couple of things. If you search around the Google, you can find out how much services or that containers that individual companies are running there. Yep. And rules of DevOps, right? Where this is covered. Where this is covered, and you might hear the buzzwords about SRE, DevOps, platform operations. You might be hearing about this one. Technically, that I won't say that those are the same names, but they mostly cover 90% the same skill sets. That's where the DevOps engineer is going to fit in there. And what exactly DevOps engineer has to do? His job is to take the code from a lower environment, that is on a computer of a development engineer, to the production. That's what very high level, 10,000 foot level view. When we say a DevOps engineer, how he has to run the show, how he has to run it, it is mostly about getting the code that is running on a laptop of a developer, thousands of developers or a bit more, and getting it combined and getting it delivered to an end user, and ensure that there is no downtime, right? That is what the important thing. If you look at any things that is Facebook, Instagram, I don't believe that you might have seen any downtime. Yeah, you might have seen a downtime once in a year or something, that they have an not a good team of DevOps engineers, but if you will never see an outage on Amazon, or you'll never see an outage on Google. If you see that when they build a successful or a fault and DevOps engineer. So so with that being said, and you can see that here, and you can see that here. Development side, into the core substitute from lower environment, higher environment, and from SRE side, there is no downtime. That is what the companies needs. When we say, somebody says that, okay, are you an SRE engineer, are you a DevOps engineer? Technically, they both have that, okay, 90% the similar skill sets and the similar way of operating, but it's a different mode of implementing the DevOps. That's what the exactly how it is going to differentiate and handle it handle it in handle it in cloud there. Are we learning the market needs? The answer is yes. Like, okay, as we said that before, the market needs are generated by a community which says that, okay, these are the skill sets that you have to learn to be a successful engineer, and we are taking that community interest and we are making a course. So it is not an outdated course, this is a live course, and we are crafting that, okay, what markets requires, and using that one we are meeting the needs of a successful DevOps engineer, and we are modifying this course, updating the course as required to meet the requirement of market. Okay, who can pursue the course for this DevOps course, right? Okay, uh, like the way that we crafted this course is that, okay, as long as you have an enthusiasm to be a successful engineer, like, okay, a DevOps engineer, they can pursue this course. A couple of the guys that has pursued this course so far is that, okay, the guys came out fresh out of the college. That is a good set of people, and there are people who want to change the course from different IT background to IT background, and they are working as a developer. They want to change it to DevOps. The people will change, and I am working as a QA engineer. I want to change, like they change to DevOps engineers, and I'm working as an, okay, test engineer. I want to change that. They are changing it. So mostly that, okay, anybody who has an IT interest, they can pursue this course. So we are covering from the ground up. That means everything that is required to be a successful DevOps engineer. So we are covering the ground up. So it is going to be very, it can be learned by any engineer, any person who has interest on the DevOps engineer. There is no prerequisites, or there is no hard-coded thing that you need to cover this one as to be become a DevOps engineer. We have crafted the course in such a way that we are covering all the areas, and we are teaching all the areas required. So you don't need to be having, okay, existing knowledge to be a successful DevOps engineer, and that's what we are carrying. And how is the market for the DevOps engineers, right? Okay, we have covered that, and it is blooming, right? Okay, and it is growing at a very, very, very fast pace, and this is continue to grow. As you can see that the different trends and how these markets are growing, and that is very clear and clean. Services part, that we part of the course, like, okay, we have covered that one, right? Okay, the agenda portion, and run with it. So now, why Azure? So, like, okay, there are multiple clouds there. There are multiple clouds there, and why Azure? The reason Azure is very simple. Azure, like, okay, one of the reason Azure is the second most trusted cloud provider there in the market after AWS, Azure, and Google. You can see the percentage of the cloud adoptions in the market, but you can see that one, okay, Microsoft Azure used to be like, okay, 5% 4 years back. Now it is 24%. I'm sure by 2025, he'll become a market leader. He'll become a market leader. The reason is very simple. They have a very good team and trust in the market. Like anybody who is using a Windows computer, they trust the Microsoft Azure by default or Microsoft Cloud by default, or because they have a good sales pitch and they have good like feature functionality, feature parity, and these are the clouds that we are that are there in the market. And I can see that, okay, Microsoft Azure becoming the primary by 2025, or at least that, okay, give that, okay, the majority majority competition to AWS. AWS used to be 38% or 50% at certain time. Now it is gaining, it is losing the market because of the competition and the way that is going. And Microsoft Azure is becoming that the new market leader in the next couple of years. That is why we are investing on the Azure there. Uh, yeah, that being said, we came to the end of the demo, and I'll be opening the form for questions and answers here. So let me stop sharing here and go to the questions. Okay, anything that we can do here?
Yeah, whoever want to ask the question, so please go ahead and raise your hand so that you'll get an unmute option to discuss.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Karthik here. So I was talking to Rahu earlier about this DevOps session. I was actually planning to take up the entire course, but I was checking if there is any possibility to change the timing to early morning IST time. Just wanted to know your feasibility on that.
Yes, Karthik, right, okay. We have started, we had an earlier batch, which is that, earlier morning of India time. And this batch, we are going to start with early morning of EST batch. So we're going to, try the next batch, changing back to that, IST. But this batch is going to be early morning of the EST, which is American time.
Okay. So let's say if we are taking this course in a passive mode, and if we come across some questions or we need some clarification, how can that can be sorted out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question, right? Okay, we have an Slack community, and where we make sure that we are going to give you a cycle where you can come and ask any questions, and we are going to answer the questions. Any questions that you have, that you can ask it in the Slack channel, and we are going to answer those ones, right? Okay, as these are available or the passive or the recordings are available. Once you go through these ones, and if you have a question, we'd be happy to answer those ones, and you can get on a working session if required. If there is something stuck there, we can help you debug and resolve it. Then you can continue from there, Karthik.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
And also, just to Karthik, by the way, irrespective of whether it is a passive or online batch, so we will have every day a separate Zoom session just for any additional queries. Whoever is not able to attend the session, or whoever is attending the session, irrespective of that, if they have any additional queries during their practice and all. So every day we are conducting a 30-minute window. So that's not limited to 30 minutes, but yeah, we're conducting a 30-minute window to answer those questions. Yeah.
And what would be the timing for that window?
That will be 6:30 p.m. IST.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Sudesh, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. A couple of questions. One is, I am new to programming. I'm coming from manufacturing background. I have project management and management aspects of normal process developments, process management experience. I have done some JavaScripts, HTML, and done some websites and things. I just want to make sure I am in a right place to start this course.
Yes, Suresh, right? Okay, just to answer the question is yes, you're in the right place to start this course. And I have roughly covered this one, right? Okay, the course is designed in such a way that we are starting from a ground up, That means we are covering from the basics. We are covering from the basics, and we don't just expect you that okay, at least some existence or some knowledge on Linux, Windows, and like okay, and this one to get it started. We're going to start very basic, right? Okay, in terms of explaining that okay, the evaluation of the operating system and how we are going to do with this one. And I have also gone to the content of this one, okay, where we learn about self-scripting, and we are going to cover a project, right? Okay, we are going to cover a project which is going to tell us how you can run a entire end-to-end a project in the cloud. So we are not just saying that okay, yeah, we're going to start a cloud and say that okay, we're going to tell that okay, these are the different components and done with it. No, we are going to run a project in the cloud as part of our training. We're going to have a project. That project is an e-commerce project, and the e-commerce project will have front end, back end, databases, and all the different components, different programming languages. Those are going to be covered. And from an aspect of a DevOps engineer to be successful there. So you are in the right place, and we are going to cover the basics of it, and you will learn the things to be a successful DevOps engineer there.
Okay, that's great. The other thing is, I'm based in UK. So your timing is 6, is it morning in USA time?
Correct.
So that means what's in UK time? Is it EST, you said?
11 a.m.
EST.
11 a.m. for you. Yeah.
11. Okay. Right. What is the format? Is that weekends or?
No, like it is going to be every weekday. Every weekday, you're going to have this one. These are available, recorded, and given access over the YouTube streaming. These
Right.
are available. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are available, right? Okay, if you are unable to make that session for whatever reason, and these are available, and go through that one on the day. And these sessions are everyday sessions are somewhere between like okay 60 to 75 minutes every day, and we're going to go through those ones and go through the entire DevOps course. And as Raghu said that okay, we are running a daily sessions. If you have any questions, and go through those ones and ask those questions, get this clarified, and move on.
Okay. Okay. What's the duration?
The duration is like okay, it is somewhere between 70 to 90 days. And Raghu has pasted that the details in the channel there, and you can just go through that one. It is somewhere between 70 to 90 days. That's what it is. A 3-month tenure, like okay, roughly based upon how long, like how well the quickly is going, based upon things. Okay, it may go fast or slow, but somewhere between 70 to 90 days.
Okay. Thank you.
The next one, it's going to be Karthik. Oh, Karthik is done, right? Yeah.
Please lower your hands. Whoever has done with your question, please lower down your hand so that we'll come to know who is ready to.
Lakshmi, it's your turn.
Yeah. Is it audible?
Yep, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm as a fresher. How I can go to DevOps without any experience, and I don't have any knowledge on any language, and how I can solve my doubts if at that time already you discussed how you will solve the doubts, so that is okay. But when coming to the real time, how you know about the real time and how will be the project, like such doubts are there.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and let's understand about okay, Robo shop GitHub. So, so this is okay. This is the application. This is the application that we cover as part of it, right? Okay, or you can think about like okay, a sample project that we are running on this one. We are covering all these ones. Okay, am I teaching that okay, Node.js, Java, Python, Golang, PHP, Mongo, and all these things? No, I'm not teaching this one, but I am telling that the project that we are going to build from the scratch, or to that okay, to the end deployment in the cloud and run in the cloud, This is going to cover that okay, these are the tools that we're going to cover. That okay, as a DevOps engineer, your job is to take the code and get it deployed. And you can okay from an okay as you're a fresher, you can tell that okay like these are the things that I have deployed into the cloud. These are the different applications that I have deployed into the cloud. You can take this content, and this is not a project that is run by me. This is an open source project, and this is the project that we are deploying it into the cloud in a different variants, right? Okay, we have said that we are going to show you how we deploy into a data center, how we deploy into cloud, and how we deploy into the microservices. So we are covering the entire journey. So you will become like, okay, you don't need to know any previous knowledge. We are going to cover that, okay, ground up, which is going to have all the necessary ingredients to be a successful DevOps engineer there. Make sense? Lakshmi, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And one more, if we got a job and we have any doubts after getting the job, like why we are new to the job, can you clarify that doubts too? Uh,
Yeah, like okay, so like we like okay, so we are not an okay like you can always come and ask any questions like okay related to come and ask that okay ask the questions about the ops engineer that we're going to support that. But okay, but you need to understand the fact that if you're thinking that we are a operations shop that okay, we can help you in a job real time, no, that's not true. But okay, if you have a general DevOps question, we are going to help you for sure.
Thank you. Thank
Okay, so thanks, Lakshmi. There, okay, like okay, please, yeah, let me go to that. Okay, Kalpuri, like please go ahead.
Yeah, Venkat, like I have few questions. So I'm working as an QA automation engineer with Cypress and JavaScript. I'm having 2 years of experience. So I was planning to make a career shift from QA to DevOps actually. So basically last year I have learned personally the AWS and I have done one certification on that. So, but I'm not able to decide like I need to go with AWS or Azure. So, but the final goal is like I want to make a career shift from QA to DevOps. So, what would you suggest regarding that?
Yeah, so like okay, here's the thing, right? Okay, uh, like AWS or Azure, like as I told you before, right? Okay, if you look at the okay, market spectrum, AWS is a market leader today. There is no doubt about it. But okay, the way that we are going to decide is Azure is getting more momentum, and in the cutthroat competition of the cloud, Azure is going to win. The reason is very simple. They are very bureaucrats, and okay, the way that how Microsoft has become Windows operating system has become an okay your laptop operating system, right? Okay,
Yes.
so like okay, they are going to become that, and it is gaining very quickly. So that's whether okay we are doing on the Azure stuff, and they are going to become a market leader soon. And our course is designed to be a successful DevOps engineer on Azure. So
Okay.
as long as you complete the course, you understand all the patterns. It does not need to be if you are a DevOps engineer, if you are having an experience in Azure, AWS will hire you. There is no question with that. Okay, they will ask you that okay, if you are an Azure experience, you can just go and work on AWS as well, because end of the day, the tools, the techniques,
Functionality.
are almost the
Yeah.
same, but the naming will be different, and some there will be some differences. I'm not saying that there won't be differences, but this is like this one. You are working in like think about like you are working in as a lecturer in a college A. And if you want to
Yeah.
go to the college B, they will have different rooms, they will have a different guys. But okay, end of the day, as long as you are good at your skills, this one, you'll be successful there. And that is not going to be a problem. And as we are covering that, okay, project, I'm not covering that, okay, concepts. I'm covering that every detail about a project and how to successfully deploy it. So we are teaching you the internals.
Yeah.
We are teaching you the internals and how we can deploy it, and we are speaking the language of a real-time DevOps engineer. So this course is going to make you a successful DevOps engineer. There is no question about that.
Yo, like the career shift from QA to DevOps, right? As a QA, I'm having experience, right? So will it be easy to take up that project and explain to the interviewer
Yeah,
whenever I'm having whatever with the
yeah,
for DevOps
absolutely.
role.
Yeah, absolutely. But you need to understand that, okay, this is all about like, okay, how well you work after
Work.
your office hours, right? Okay.
Okay.
If you spend like a good amount of time, okay, you are already QA engineer and
Yeah.
you are already aware of like, okay, the internals of an IT.
Yeah.
And you need to say that, okay, if somebody says that do you know Salesforce, okay, how you're going to get your service desk incidents and how you're going to do this one. You will already know all these details already. The rest of
Yes.
the details is that, okay, you have to spend the time on gaining the knowledge and understand the concept and practicing everything. This is a real time. We are going to teach you all the details in phases. Okay, every day it is going to be a 60 to 90-minute session, and you have to go and practice it. If you don't go practice it, then there is no way that, okay, you're going to gain knowledge. But as long as you practice and you do that, I think that, okay, you can crack the interview and move to a DevOps role shift.
Okay. And last question is, do you guys help in like resume preparation or something that kind of like once the course is done so that we can start applying for the jobs?
Let me take help from Raghu on that one. Do we do that, Raghu?
Yeah. So basically, like, see, we are actually trying to teach a project, right? So the project
Yeah.
is not a simple project, by the way. So the URL that Venkat has shown you is actually a project from the IBM. Okay. So
Okay.
it's a $1 million project, by the way. It's one of the biggest product. I mean, even in the roadmap datasets that Venkat, another link has shown it. So that product is also listed. The IBM product is also listed in that roadmap. Okay. So it's a $1 million, so sub product company from IBM. And so we're actually going to take the same project and we are going to run it in a way like how you run in your production environment, like highly scalable, high security, okay,
Yeah.
highly available. All these particular characteristics we will try to do, and eventually you will take the learning of what we have done. So we'll just convert that into bullet points and give it in a resume format.
Resume. Okay.
So you simply go ahead and so go to the interviews and confidently say the same project which you worked on, which you
Work
learned
on.
from the training. Okay, it's
Yeah.
subjective.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Venkat and Raghu.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Okay, the guys done with the questions. Please take down your hands and let me go for Lokesh here. Please go ahead, Lokesh.
Yeah, Venkat, just I have one question. You said we will have access to the Slack, right? That
Yeah.
will be like lifetime or like it will be until completion of this course?
You will have it on lifetime, by the way. So we'll also extend our support in a way that you can always reach out to us, even for the queries, apart from the lab thing, by the way, for the training. Also, you can always reach us to for any kind of the queries that you have during the work as well. So with our experience, we'll try to suggest you what can be done. Definitely, yes. It is a lifetime access.
Okay, yep. Thank you.
Yeah, and also you can use the platform to so help others as well. Like for an example, like you are clear on certain concept and you are little enthusiastic and you have some time. There's a lot of people actually come and so discuss their queries out there, and you can always go and help them on your own as well. So that's a very good learning that you can make it up, not only in your context. I mean, maybe you do it, so maybe you face a couple of problems and you know the solutions to that. But whereas what other peoples are actually facing and all those particular scenarios also, you can eventually gain it from there. So we will encourage the the persons to go ahead and read about it and answer them, so that you will have an learning, by the way. Yeah.
Okay, yep, that helps.
Thank you. Yeah, and guys, okay, who are done with their questions, please take your hands down, please. And Sumit, please go ahead, Sumit. You're on mute.
Hello?
If you're speaking. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. I have a question regarding the timing of this course. Actually, you said the timing is at 6 o'clock EST, right?
That's right.
Okay. So for me, timing is a concern for me. So my question is that if I decide to attend this course in a completely passive mode, will it yield the same benefits as attending a live session, or there will be some hiccups in between regarding the lab sessions? And things like that?
No, like, okay. So, like, okay, you need to understand that, okay, there are a couple of things that we are going to do it on a day-to-day basis. There will be a source code repository that is hosted on the GitHub that you're going to get access, and you're going to have the recordings. So I would say that, okay, like, okay, you will get the similar thing as long as you are an already experienced IT person. If you're already an experienced IT person, you're working in some stream of IT, you'll see no difference. But if you're a fresher, I won't recommend that, okay, like, okay, going a passive mode. Okay, if you're a fresher, I recommend that, okay, starting with a live session that's going to help you engaged. Okay, it's more about nothing to do with passive mode or active mode. It's more about, like, okay, your engagement will be higher if it is
Naren,
if you're so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Huh?
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
hello.
Yes, Lokesh.
So sorry, Venkat. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. There are two more hands. Let me find out. Shudesh, we are done with you, right? Or not yet? Shudesh?
I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick one. I know I'm not expecting as part of the course this, but because I will be new to DevOps, I just want to understand, just completing the course, do I need, apart from the project we are doing during the course, do I need to have more experience? What is the job market like? Do they ask him for a lot of experience, or
Like,
is it easy
yeah,
to get in?
no, that's what okay, like, okay, the way it's going to work out, Shudesh, is right, okay, you have to practice well, and there are level of jobs as, okay, there is an, okay, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, L7. There is a levels, okay, based upon your IT experience, you can map onto that one, and based on what your learnings. And as part of this training, we are going to create your own subscription. You're going to get everything tested, and everything is hands-on. And once you've gone through these ones, then you will see that, okay, how confident you are, and what level you can get into that one, and what level you can clear based on your past IT experience, and then you can get into the market. But I would say that, okay, like, okay, for L1, L2, you can easily get on with this course as long as you practice and have a prior IT experience. But if you want to go at above L5, which is an architect and above, I think that it's a time thing. I don't say that, okay, completing the course, you get an architect role. No, you're not going to get it. It's more about practicing it and using it on day-to-day basis to go to an L5 and above levels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, yeah, and let me go with the couple of hands here. Just Prasanna, please go ahead. You're on mute, Prasanna, if you are speaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we finish the course, we'll start attending the interviews, right? So will you also provide interview questions like the predicted one, which we'll ask frequently, or we need to prepare?
Yeah, like it's more of like a, so like let's understand about these, okay, interview questions. Okay, if you're experienced IT person, you already know. It is
Yes.
more about like interview questions is not about like, okay, we don't provide you any specific interview questions. You can just go to Google and say that Azure interview questions. You will get the first link with 200 questions, right? I won't say that, okay, like we will provide you a specific any interview questions, but we will answer if anything stuck with any question that you need help with. We can help you on that one, but we don't provide you any specific interview questions on Azure.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, thank you for that. One more question. So if we are working as an Azure DevOps engineer in future, if we get more requirement on AWS plus DevOps engineer, can we switch easily from Azure to AWS, vice versa?
Yeah, for sure, right? Okay, there is like you can like that's what I explained you, right? If you are a successful Azure DevOps engineer, changing out to an, okay, AWS, it's not going to be tough. right? Okay, as I told you before, the analogy of an professor changing one college to another college. There will be a different, you have to spend some time to gain the knowledge and to become a successful engineer there, but you can always switch from one cloud to another cloud, because end of the day, the concept remains the same. Whether it is Azure, AWS, or Google, the concept is the same. If you are experienced in one cloud, gaining or understanding, answering something else, it's not a problem there. And the way that the market works is they are not going to say that you have to be expert in AWS or Azure. If you are an Azure expert, they will take you for AWS as well.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. And Ankarav, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Venkat. I just want to check, how much experience does this course cover the SRE roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, so that's what I told you, right? Okay, SRE is a methodology of deployment of DevOps. SRE is nothing, it's not a separate from DevOps, right? Okay, that's what we're going to cover as part of it. SRE's mindset is different from the DevOps mindset. DevOps engineer mindset is more about moving the code from a lower level to due to the prod deployment. But SRE role is more about keeping the application done with no downtime. So we are going to cover 100% of SRE, like it just to keep your answer simple. We're going to cover 100% of SRE, but SRE itself is not a separate designation or separate role. It is a implementation methodology of DevOps. So by doing this one, we cover that as well, and we are going to cover details of how does that work and how you can gain knowledge and how we are going to concentrate and emphasize on monitoring and remediating the issues. That's going to cover the SRE portion as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.